Hello there. So another video about language, and language is important really, because language represents thought as thought represents itself. And if you can't think things and you can't communicate those thoughts, you know, it doesn't take a genius to work out that civilization goes rapidly down the pan. Now, I made a video before about the yes-no. The yes-no. You've all heard it, and if you haven't, after I give you a little summary now, you'll hear it everywhere. You see your mate in the street and he's just come back from holiday, and you say, "Oh, you've just come back from Marbella. Did you have a good time?" And he goes, "Yeah, no, it was great." Yeah, no, it was great. You can say, and it, you know, it doesn't have to be about holidays. Obviously, it can be about everything. "Oh, yeah, you've got a new girlfriend. How's that going?" "Yeah, no, it's brilliant." Now, it's actually an honesty. It's actually an honesty thing, because things aren't all great. Holidays are a nightmare. I mean, aeroplanes, airports. If you could get to the airport 3 hours early, I mean, I never do. I always get there about 3 minutes early. I see that queue of 1 million people and I just rush to the front and say, "Mate, I'm going to miss my plane," and they just let me through. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. But even having to do that is a pain in the balls, you know. Anyway, and then you've got all the other hassle when you're sitting and you're... So holidays aren't just great. So when someone says, "How was your holiday?" and you go, "Yeah, no, it was great." Well, yeah, bits of it were, and nah, bits of it weren't, which is fair enough. I mean, I'd prefer it, because, you know, eloquence is an articulation, a beautiful things, as is a wide and varied vocabulary. You know, they help us convey ideas at a deeper, more profound level. So instead of just going, "Yeah, nah," you could say, "Well, you know, all that airport business, and this happened and this happened, and the hotel was a shithole and we had to move to another one," and you could, then you're actually telling a story. And stories is how we communicate. We communicate through stories. When we shrink a potentially interesting story of why the holiday was both good and bad, when we shrink that down to yeah, no, you know, that's Orwellian. You know, what could have been a very interesting conversation is now just yeah, no. Double speak. So there's that. So I talked about that one, and then the one that I want to talk about today is I've seen this, and it's becoming more and more popular. And I'm going to lose a lot of viewers now, because I've seen it's increasingly popular in football punditry. You'll have to excuse that bass vibrating. There's nothing I can do about that now. Maybe I'll randomly touch a bit of window and hope that, no, it didn't. Hopefully that will stop in a minute. Anyway, it's this thing where people say, "I want to say." So they'll be having a conversation, and it'll be, you know, when it got to 87 minutes and we were 3-0 up, and you kind of think it's in the bag, but you never know, do you? And then someone says, "Oh yeah, there was that time. I want to say it was Newcastle in 2022. I want to say it was Newcastle in 2022. I don't want you to tell me your process. If you want to tell me it was Newcastle in 2022, guess what you can do? Tell me it was Newcastle in 2022. You could also say, "I'm not sure," or "I'm not 100% on this, but this new thing I want to say," because they always follow it up by actually saying. So if you're going to actually say it anyway, don't smother me in your process. It's like we all know, don't we? I talked about it in a video the other day. you see a lot of American students in these lectures. I've made a few videos about them, and it's like, well, it's like war, you know, like the thing about war is like, you know, historically, like men have like, you know, like gone to, you know, like is a certainty modifier. You could also say it's an uncertainty modifier. It doesn't really matter, because what does like mean? Like means it's like something, but it's not it. It's not the same as it. And so you're modifying your certainty. Instead of just saying what you believe or what you think, your strange nervousness to just communicate with someone. You are allowed to get things wrong. No one knows everything. People do make mistakes. You haven't got to sit there protecting yourself through every conversation by going like, so that if someone says, well, hang on a minute, you've got that wrong, and you're like, well, I did say like. You don't need to do these processes. You know, they're negatively affecting our language. They're affecting our ability to communicate, to develop vocabularies. You know, to be able to communicate with each other on a higher level. Because as that level drops, and I think our IQ level peaked in about, what was it? About 1880 or something, and it's been plummeting since then. And without a doubt, our use of language is intrinsically linked with that. And the less we care about how we use language, the less we will by default care about how we communicate ideas. And that's a real concern. So listen out for it. I want to say, and pull people up on it. Whoa, what do you mean you want to say? And then watch them like buffer. Watch them start buffering, because they won't like it. They won't like you pulling them up on it. What do you mean you want to say? Well, obviously, because you're about to say it. I mean, have you ever heard someone say, I don't want to say... Think about how you use words. Think about how you communicate to people. Think about the fact you don't need to know everything. Have the balls to occasionally say, I don't know anything about that, or I don't know a lot about that, or this is a bit of a guess. That's all right. You're not perfect. And that's how you start learning. With all these modifiers, you're protecting yourself from learning. Does that seem like a good thing to do? To protect yourself from growing intellectually? I think not. Ta-da!